All right, we are going to get into coaching. Erin has submitted a question, and then we'll have lots of time for open Q&A. For those who are being coached, I want you to know that you have agency over the conversation. So my intention is to support you, ask questions, reflect what I see, help you find clarity on your next step. But if at any point the conversation is veering somewhere you don't want to go, like we don't have to go there. Erin, if you can have your book jacket copy ready to share, and anyone else who happens to have book jacket copy. And then for those who are listening, please just be in the chat, be encouraging to each other, ask questions. If you have some feedback for the person who's being coached, please just ask for consent before sharing because they might not want to hear it. So, all right, Erin, what's on your mind?
So much. Okay, so I have a very baby draft one, waiting on the revision bonus training to really dig into that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working on, in the meantime, I've been working on like bits and pieces of book 2. And so I have a potential point, a potential series point, a couple of misbelief final beliefs. And I just want to know if there's a sense of continuity there.
Can you read your book jacket copy for book 1 for us while
Yes.
I let my dogs back in?
Okay. It's been a while since I've edited it, so it's a little different, but that's okay. All right. Raina is a powerful shade healer who is able to use her powers of darkness to siphon out a shadow sickness that plagues her home city of Silruna. Despite her work, her shadow magic is not understood as the people worship the light, so Raina is met with hatred and has grown up knowing only disdain while longing for acceptance and love. While monsters of shadow attack the city, when monsters of shadow attack the city, its leaders believe that it is Raina's power drawing them in, and she is given an ultimatum: help destroy the monsters or be expelled from the Enclave. She is assigned to help Cassian, a handsome light warden, in the fight against the shadow monsters. However, she discovers a secret army of light monsters is being created by the head mages to purify the city of darkness and become a kingdom worthy of the god of light. Raina and Cass realize that light and darkness must exist in balance with each other for humanity to survive, and Raina can help restore harmony between the two powers. When the conflict between light and darkness comes to a head, Raina frees her long repressed power, and she and Cass bring the two elements back into balance within the city and pacify the monsters together. Shadow Faded, which is a working title, is a new adult romantic fantasy for those who desire love while feeling defeated by their own self-loathing in a world believes that they are unlovable. It reminds us that we cannot be in harmony with ourselves until we remove our masks and allow all parts of ourselves to be seen and known and loved.
Thanks, Erin. And so that's book 1. Can you give us just a few sentence rundown of what book 2 is going to be about?
Book 2 is essentially the god of light ends up getting summoned anyway. He takes possession of Cass's body. And then they have to try and defeat him and bring balance back again and restore the elder god, who is the ultimate god of balance.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Okay, can
possibly get.
Can I share your document?
Sure.
Okay. So I created this Abernathy Workshop Gmail account for the workshop that I did a couple weeks ago. And now it just is like that's the only account that it logs me into. So I guess I need to log out of it. But okay.
So the highlighted stuff is the main stuff I want to be thinking about today.
Okay. Okay, great. So everybody, when we write a series, if your series has unless you're writing like a murder mystery or something. Um, Most series kind of have an overarching story arc and or deal with a similar theme throughout all the books. And so when we write a series, it's helpful to have a series point. So the series point is the idea that ties all the books together and that provides you some cohesion within the books and some direction. So then underneath that series point, each book has their own point. And those individual book points usually either kind of are a step toward that series point, or um, they reflect a certain aspect of that point, or they revolve around that point. So Erin's series point, when we come out of hiding and learn to love all parts of ourselves, light and dark alike, we begin to heal and are entrusted with the responsibility to rebuild the broken world for the sake of universal growth. I have to read that again because I got distracted by my speaking. When we come out of hiding and learn to love all parts of ourselves, light and dark alike, that is hard to say, we begin to heal and are entrusted with the responsibility to rebuild the broken world for the sake of universal growth. Okay. So book one's point, the darkest parts of ourselves that we seek to hide and repress are the things that make us uniquely human. And in order to be truly seen and loved, we must remove the masks we wear when trying to hide that darkness. Okay. So book one is about removing our masks and accepting who we are. Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
Book two, we don't go through life unscathed. I can hear myself. But we deserve love and healing so that we may be the best version of ourselves. And when we are gifted the opportunity to share that best version with the world, it becomes our responsibility to do so, that we may all grow. Okay. So this is about accepting yourself and being seen, and this is about using your power for good.
Essentially, yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so book one, we can see ties to the point because it's about coming out of hiding and learning to love all parts of ourselves. Book two's point is about this healing process and having responsibility to work for the good of the world. Okay, so our point determines our character's misbelief. So in the beginning, our characters believe something that is the opposite of our point, and in the end, they believe something that is kind of their version of the point. So what we're checking for here is whether Raina's misbeliefs relate to the point and whether the misbelief and final belief relate to each other in a very clear way. So misbelief, people are relying on me and I'm not good enough as I am, so I must be better. Okay, and final belief, offering my love and my best self to the world is enough. I'm still healing and don't have to be everything. Do you know the point of book 3?
I don't know if there is a book 3 yet.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking it's a duology at the moment, but things change.
Okay. So what I'm looking for right now is whether within these 2 points, we kind of get the fullness of your series point. How important is this to your book 2?
I think it's pretty important because we've got the whole idea of Cass getting possessed and then he kind of gets spit out. And so he's kind of a broken shell of a person. It's not necessarily as directly related to Raina,
Okay.
but it's his part of the story.
Okay. And will he have point of view chapters in this book?
I don't know. I was thinking so this was a problem. I was thinking because I was struggling with the ending, and so I worked backwards and made this whole big backstory of the god of light and darkness and all the things that happen there. And I'm like, okay, how do I fit that in without making a giant info dump? So I was toying with the idea of having Raina's father, who is the brother of the goddess of darkness, being a POV.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not settled on that yet, but it's
Mhm.
a current option.
Do you know why Raina thinks she's not good enough as she is?
Um, kind of. It's hard to articulate. Um, it just feels like such a big problem, and she feels like such a small potential solution.
Okay. So she feels, do you have her? No, okay. Can we um can we write out her worldview and her self view?
Sure.
Okay, so what's her what's her worldview at the beginning of the book?
Um, I'm so sorry. It's still really early for me.
That's okay. What is so she just came out of book one, right?
uh,
Where her whole worldview changed. So she used to think dark was bad and light was good. And now she's learned that actually they're both necessary, right?
mhm,
And that her society was oppressing people.
mhm.
So this doesn't have to be perfect. So how do you think she's perceiving the world kind of right after this?
Um, because there's kind of this like tenuous piece currently at the very beginning of the book, which obviously all goes to hell. Um, um, but she knows that people still are very wary of darkness,
Mm-hmm.
so change is not coming quickly. Um, oh,
Does she think change is possible?
um, yeah, I think so.
Okay. Does she expect it to come quickly or does she think it's going to take a long time?
Um, I think she's afraid that it's coming too slowly.
Mm. Hmm. Okay. So how does this feel for a good enough worldview for right now?
Perfect.
Okay. So then what's her self view at the beginning of book two?
Um, my darkness isn't a bad thing, but it's not a complete thing.
What does that mean?
Um, it it and she can't function completely without some semblance of balance.
Hmm. So I'm still imbalanced or something like that?
Maybe? I don't
Or
know.
incomplete or not enough?
Incomplete, maybe.
Okay. And then the behavior.
Um, the behavior urge that I think of is that she is trying to like overwork
Mm,
to compensate.
for my incompleteness, for my
Deficit or something.
what?
Deficit or something. I don't know.
There you go. That's a better word. Deficit. How do you spell that? There we go.
Like that.
Okay. So people are relying on me and I'm not good enough as I am, so I must be better. Can we make this a little bit more specific with some of what we've developed here?
Yeah.
So what would this look like? How do you want to rewrite this?
Um, Ooh. I'm trying to tie the first two in together.
Hmm. Does she think it's her responsibility to make the change happen?
Yes.
Okay, so let's add that to her self view.
Okay.
Um, is it is that it? It's my responsibility to make this change happen.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to write a first draft of the misbelief?
Feel free.
Okay. Um, the world, her world needs to change. And it's my responsibility to make it happen. But I'm incomplete.
So it's happening too slowly.
Oh, because of her.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh. Ah, okay. So if I work harder, I can make it happen faster.
Maybe. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's better than what I had.
It's more specific.
Yeah,
I mean, this is all here, right?
right.
It's more complete, maybe.
Yeah,
The world needs to change and it's my responsibility to make it happen, but I'm incomplete, so it's happening too slowly. If I work harder, I can make it happen faster. So what we've done is just really dug into why she thinks she's not good enough and needs to be
right.
better, which is going to help you as you're writing the book and creating the outline and all that to know what her beliefs actually are in that moment.
Right.
So let's do this for the end. Offering my love and my best self to the world is enough. I'm still healing. I don't have to be everything. Okay, so what's her worldview at the end of the book?
Um, change has occurred.
What does she think about the speed of at which change needs to happen?
Um, well, that's where one of the struggles is because once the inciting incident hits, everything changes very quickly for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she's got to rebuild.
So does she learn that change or like real change takes time?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe real change for the better.
Mm. Okay.
Because it can get bad really fast, but it's harder to rebuild.
Yeah. Okay. What's her self-view at the end?
I am competent, I am complete, and I am not alone.
Mm. What does she think about her responsibility to make change happen?
Um, it's not all her responsibility. It is part of her responsibility, but it's not only her responsibility.
Hmm. And how is it her responsibility or why?
Um, it's her responsibility because she's so attuned with shadow magic and darkness that it's she's the one that needs to balance it out because the god of light essentially comes down and just
Mm.
light everywhere.
Okay, so because of my gifts, I can help make change happen,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Something about balance.
Mm.
But my power is only part of the puzzle, a piece of the puzzle.
Is it also like, but I can't do it alone?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's her behavior?
She takes responsibility, but doesn't fight other people trying to help her.
Mm. Is it also like, is there a release of control or like a greater acceptance of, or is this important that she realize it's not all on her shoulders?
Yes.
Okay. So you said I take responsibility, which she was already doing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
For my part in the change, in making change.
Yes.
Um,
But I can't fix everything.
and how does that affect her behavior?
She's more willing to accept help.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, good. So let's combine this into a final belief.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just review the misbelief. The world needs to change, and it's my responsibility to make it happen, but I'm incomplete. So it's happening too slowly. If I work harder, I can make it happen faster.
Okay. Real change is coming, and I am doing my part. But I don't need to do it alone.
The world needs change, and it's my responsibility to make it happen. I wonder, do you still want part of her final belief to be the world needs to change?
Yes.
Okay. So what? Raina, your character may never think this directly in her book, right? But
Right.
for our purposes, we are trying to find a concise summation of the driving beliefs that are impacting her choices in the story and what's going to change. And so often, when we work on a misbelief and a final belief, I will, whoops, what did I do here? I want to see the parts mirrored. So if this is in the misbelief, I want to see what it is in the final belief. So
Okay.
that's kind of why I'm
Right.
asking these specific questions. Okay, so the world needs to change. Oh my gosh. Real change is coming, and I'm doing my part to make it happen, but I don't need to do it alone. Um, what does she think about her?
Her best is enough.
That's good. And does she think real change is coming, but it's not all dependent on me or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the world needs to change. Real change is coming. It's not all dependent on me. I'm doing my part to make it happen, but I don't need to do it alone. My best is enough. How do those two feel?
They feel good.
Okay, just changing the color of these so they're easy for you to find. Okay, so, and then your point, let's just check back in. We don't go through life unscathed, but we deserve love and healing so that we may be the best version of ourselves. And when we are gifted the opportunity to share that best version with the world, it becomes our responsibility to do so, that we may all grow. Is this Cass? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Is that
Current.
is this all related to him?
Um, it's it's definitely related to him.
Does love and healing relate or enable Raina to reach her final belief?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm just going to make a note here. Because we deserve love and healing so that we may be the best version of ourselves. I want you to think about, how do love and healing help Raina become the best version of herself? And then, I mean, I think this is pretty clear in her misbelief.
Mhm.
Okay, so that looks really good. You want me to kind of review this?
We don't need to do that just because I'm still very squiffy
Okay,
on that.
okay. So one thing I do wonder is about Cass.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have an arc of change because it does feel like his misbelief and final belief could be important.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to think about.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Um, I think you're on track.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do you feel clear on your next steps?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
They're gonna pivot towards revision soon, but
Yes.
I wanted to get something done.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Does anyone have any questions about misbelief, final belief, what we just did?